The Nerd Chat, an Xbox podcast.
Is a podcast celebrating all things gaming, food, and the good old days. Hosted by three BFFs, Daddy Diwali, Chipotle Bear, and Bubble Boy and Seven.
And new intern, X-Bacon Gamin'.
This is Cortana. And remember, don't make a girl a promise if you know you can't keep it. As always, Spartans, see you online.
Oh, hello. Daddy Diwali here, and welcome to The Nerd Chat, an Xbox podcast celebrating all things gaming, food, and the good old days. That's right. XRT is dead, Jose. Why the name change, you might ask? Well, let's just say Microsoft sent a cease and desist letter to XRT Gmail, and we cannot afford to fight them in court, even though we might have a chance since they're still fighting with the FTC potentially here in the next
I think
year.
we might be able to slip under the radar on that one.
But the main reason is we have goals now I'm assuming we have goals for the podcast, and we determined that we needed to rebrand. And what is something we all have in common or have all been talking about throughout basically the beginning of time since cell phones were invested? Hey, did you text the Nerd Chat about that? Text the Nerd Chat. Tell them to get online. Hey, did the Nerd Chat say anything about that cereal? And so the Nerd Chat has officially been created. We'll get more into the details, more about the name change later, but that's it. Jose, Xbox, record this, is dead. Joining me as always is the assistant to the co-host, Chipotle Bear. Chipotle Bear, how are you?
I'm doing great, man. Actually back at work today with kids for the first day, and it was a very long day. I'm sure Bacon's wife can tell him the same thing. But obviously excited about tonight, excited about our new updates for the year and to get things rolling. And of course, to have a fantastic foursome. So happy to be here, man.
And joining us as always, the assistant to the co-host, Bubble Boy and Seven. How are you?
Always excited. I've been re-energized by the start of the year, I think, and nothing entirely too crazy at school happened this week. So so far, knock on wood.
And making his return to the Nerd Chat, he is serving as intern to the assistant to the co-host this week. Everybody, please welcome. I think his name is Jason. I still don't remember. X-Bacon Gamin'. Welcome back to the show. How are you?
Gentlemen, this weather, the snow on the streets, the ice, the working in this stuff. This is going to be a great release for the last 2 weeks of misery. And we finally get to put the rabid dog that is the Denver Broncos to bed after this weekend. And we get to start fresh next season. Let's do it.
Bacon coming in hot. Speaking truth right
you're
now.
Not kidding. Man, we have one of our new counselors is from Florida, and she's like, I thought one of the things about Colorado was the snow never stuck around because it's always sunny. I was like, this isn't normal. This is not.
No. This is normal, like. Bubble Boy. This always happens here.
No, this is way worse this year, dude.
This always happens here. We don't need people moving in.
I see what you're saying.
Yeah, driving a little minivan for work and parking on the sides of streets and ruts, and it's just been
I hear you.
Awful.
Yeah, it sucks. It really does suck. We can talk about that later, guys. We need to jump into it. A lot of goals, a lot to talk about, a lot of news, and let's jump into some shout-outs. Jose, start the show with some shout-outs. First shout-out. And this one,
is it a shout out?
I think it is.
Yes, it is. No, and I told him I was going to shout out. So,
feedback,
absolutely.
I don't think he was being mean.
No.
Here
we go. Let me jump into it. His name is at Rushanep on YouTube. And this was, he commented on our last episode on the end of XRT. He said, "Are you changing the name to PlayStation Record that? 43 minutes to get to the main topic. And most of that was PlayStation talk. Xbox news isn't Xbox news. You're not going to get views and subs until your name and content match." Which then I responded under the XRT YouTube channel. We appreciate the feedback. I will make sure and bring your comment up on our next show. We have been discussing how to make the show better, and we are trying to do a better job getting to the news sooner in our show. In our defense, there really wasn't much news this week, and I think we had some good discussions about the gaming obsessions and games coming in 2023. We also have timestamps posted in the description and pinned comment as well in case you want to skip certain things. Thanks for watching, and we will discuss your comments for sure. And then he actually responded very quickly afterwards. He said, to clarify, I didn't feel like I was watching an Xbox-centric podcast. Other Xbox-centric shows had a slow news week too. But when watching those, it felt like it was Xbox-centered. And like Chance said, I appreciate the honesty. We asked for feedback, and this is a shout out. And again, thank you, Roshanep. Hopefully you will listen to this week's episode, and I genuinely do appreciate the feedback. And we're going to talk more about this a little bit later. But Chance, Jose, any reaction to this since you were here last week?
And the fact that he got into 43 minutes, Snelling even listened to 43 minutes total
Not
in
recently.
everything we've ever done. So
not in 2022.
No, I appreciate it. And I, as we're all in somewhat or Bacon like tangential to the educational world, I appreciate constructive feedback. Mm-hmm. I don't feel like he was just talking crap or dogging us. I feel like he was saying like, hey, here's what I noticed. Yep. And as a fan, here's how I feel about it. It's the only way you can ever get better. Do I think we need to take everything he said and like, okay, now we need to completely change our show? Like, granted, we're doing that, but that's exactly what we asked for. Yes. We literally said, tell us what you like, tell us what you don't like. And that's exactly what he did. Yep. So if we were going to look at it like, our hearts are, feelings are hurt.
I appreciate, like you said, all feedback. And I try to take the time to respond to it. And I think, Rosh, if you listen to the show, you're going to appreciate some of the changes we're starting with today.
Yeah, I hope so.
Jose, what about you? Anything you want to say to Rosh, or are we good to move on?
Absolutely, man. All jokes aside, I agree with a lot of what Chance said. It's just nice to have like talking with our fans, and not that we don't appreciate all of our fans that generally write in, including like Bacon himself, but it's always nice to hear from new people, and feedback is good. We do appreciate it. It is exactly what we asked for. It's like a teacher, right? If you ask for something and you get it back, you can't be mad that you got back what you asked for. So I do appreciate it, and hopefully continue to listen. We are excited about some changes that are upcoming, and even beyond 2023, I imagine we're going to grow a lot and change a lot. So I'm all about it, man. I appreciate it.
Moving on to the next shout out. Xberg 550. He's back, guys. He wrote back after writing to us before, suggesting that we make a video on our setup and our backgrounds and whatnot. He said, hey guys, thanks for the shout out. I've never had such amazing customer service with any of my comments. Looking forward to viewing your collectible short films. Yes, I will be grading them. So thank you, Xberg. Sweet. And I wanted to ask you, Berg, how did you find us, and what drew you to the show? And I'm curious to Rosh as well, because it sounds to me like he doesn't work for Bear Creek, shockingly, and that he is a real fan. And I'm genuinely curious. We'd love to know how you found us. I'm assuming it was probably that episode that we got the most views ever on, saying Xbox is damned if they do, damned if they don't. And thanks again for writing in. And the last shout out comes from our email. By the way, Jose, do you know our new email where people can reach us now?
I actually don't, man. Can you want to share with us, and then I will learn it?
Perfect.
Can I guess?
Yes. Bubble Boy, what do you think the new email is?
The Nerd Chat.
No, that was taken.
gmail.com.
That's what I was saying. I knew that'd be taken.
Yeah.
It's Nerd Chat.
The Nerd Chat podcast at gmail.com. Please write into the show. Again, that's the Nerd Chat podcast at gmail.com. And we also have a new website. You're not going to guess this one because, of course, these were taken. I'll share that with you later. Actually, I'll just tell you now. Our new link is nerdchatmedia.com.
Oh, all right.
I tried the Nerd Chat, again, taken. And actually, if you go to it, it's like this Ubuntu page. I have no idea what's going on. So somebody's claimed it, but it's...
I have no idea what Ubuntu
I know.
is.
And then there was another...
It's an operating system.
Yeah, and then there was I think I tried the Nerd Chat podcast or something else. And what would have happened is I would have had to pay GoDaddy to try to negotiate with the person who owns it to get it to me. So I'm like, nah, we'll stick with nerdchatmedia.com.
What good are you, Daniel? How much work did you actually?
I've been putting in a lot of work. All right. So we're going to go on. So by the way, back to the email, Coach Billy wrote into our email. He said, "Dear XRT," but forgive him. It's TNC now. "Dear TNC assistant co-hosts, I would like to challenge Daddy D-Wally to eat 2 triple Whoppers from Burger King. Why? Because he just can't do it. He won't do it and doesn't have the guts to do it. Prove me wrong, Daddy D-Wally. Goose. Goose, I don't remember you telling me to eat triple Whoppers. You're absolutely right. I could not eat 2 triple Whoppers. That's insane. That is 6 patties of Whopper meat. And I love my Whopper man meat, Jose, more than anyone.
Who wants some man meat? I do. I want some man meat.
Michael, the white would like your man meat.
Well, then my man meat he shall have.
But I believe I said I could eat 3 Whoppers in one sitting, and I am confident in that, Billy. So the next time I go, and if I'm starving and I'm famished and I've worked out and I have 3,000 calories to spare, I will attempt and I will document and record eating 3 Whoppers, heavy veggies, heavy ketchup on video. Go ahead, Jose.
I feel like that used to be a YouTube short. Just throwing that out there.
Ooh, well, yeah, edited. I will do that. So shout out to our shout outs this week. Go ahead, Bubble Boy, before we move on to...
I was going to apologize on Daniel's behalf for, Goose. I'm sorry. You win. He will not do what you challenged him to do, apparently. So he's trying to mold it into this other box. And so I would like to see a video, or at least the ramifications of a video, or the video of the ramifications of you doing that, though, Goose. That would be fantastic.
Ooh, yeah, there we go, Goose. You're right. I don't have the guts. Let's see if you've got the guts. Guys, let's jump into Xbox news for the week. This one is for at Roshaneb. This is for you, buddy. We're jumping.
News team, assemble!
Straight into Xbox news release. News number 1. Report. Xbox exclusive Redfall is targeting an early May 2023 launch date. And this is coming from Jez Corden over at Windows Central. According to his reports and his own sourcing, which Jez corroborated on his own podcast this past Tuesday, Redfall is targeting an early May 2023 release window, the first week of May to be exact. The rumors began with Okami13, who claimed that Redfall would be targeting an early May release. Our own sourcing corroborated those reports this past week, with Microsoft's internal targets focusing on an early May for the launch, complete with some form of early access period similar to Forza Horizon 5. Forza Horizon 5 sported a premium edition, which granted a few days of early access to the game. 1 million of people bought the early access options. And if things go to plan, Redfall will be getting the same treatment. Tying into that, I've heard different ways to pronounce this guy's name. I feel so bad. Clobrier, I can't remember. He wrote on his Twitter, the official Starfield support page went live today on 1/2/23. Starfield arrives exclusively on Xbox Series X, S, and PC in the first half of 2023. Chance, if Redfall does launch in May, which is looking like it will, and Starfield, when? Is it going to become at the end of June? Or dare I say, boys, is this coming on 2/3/23 or March?
I said March, baby.
Yeah.
Keep going, Chance.
Is it coming sooner than we think? Could the old Godfather himself be like, we got this. We were close. We just needed a little bit more time. We could have done it. I remember in that interview with, what's his name? Bacon, save me, the guy. He's got a huge YouTube following. He's kind of like, somebody look it up. What's his name? It's kind of like...
While you're looking at it, I think this would be the company to do it, because they did it with Fallout. It was 4 or 5, right? Which one was just
4? 5
was just
not
like
made yet.
Hey, it's geez,
5 isn't out yet.
Yeah. So I mean, no. they'd be the ones to do it, and they could get away with it in terms of like the marketing cycle and stuff. They would still sell just as many copies of this. I could see, I'm hoping, because I have a late March birthday, that it's late March.
Jose, you said you called it earlier. So what are your thoughts here? What's your date?
I don't know about specific date, but my thought was mid-March. And the last episode when we brought this up, the reasoning was
mid-March. Don't forget Star Wars and Resident Evil 4.
You're right. But here's the thing.
April.
I think January is obviously too early. That's not going to happen. I think we're going to get like an event. I think February is too soon after the event. Even if they were to announce it like, hey, it's coming out right away, it's not enough time for pre-orders.
Would that be, though, Jose?
But I'm saying March is the same hotness, though. To say if we have an event in, let's say, a week and a half or 2 weeks, mid to late January, and they're like, Starfield's coming, here's the release date, and it's like 3/23. Literally, people would lose their minds because that's at that point like a month and a half away. That'd be enough time for pre-orders. That'd be enough time for collector's editions, and you have to think about the back end. It's also enough time to get through Starfield to then fall into Redfall. And then after Redfall, summer, you hit Forza. Like, you're just talking banger, banger, banger right in a row in the hot season of gaming. Like that is a strategy, if you ask me. That's what I'm saying.
So throwing it to Bacon last year. Bacon, are we going to get Starfield? I'm thinking April. There's nothing in April. And yeah, that's really close to that May for Redfall. But
if it's May 1st, though, dude,
Starfield's going to be one of those games that everyone's going to play forever, all year. It's going to be like Elden Ring, right? It's going to take over. And then, Redfall in May. And then is Forza going to actually be the one that's released last in like late June? Or, Bacon, I was listening to the Dukes today on Defining Duke. Mr. Maddy was like, hey, man, this is a game where even if they have to delay it until the end of the year, nobody is going to really care once they have that game and then you're playing it and you've got your controller playing the game. Yes, it would be terrible, a horrible look, and I still think it's a possibility. I'm still not sold on this early release. Bacon, what are your thoughts?
We know it can't be February. It's way too stacked.
Dude, March is way too stacked. Are you kidding me? March is much worse.
Two games, but we got to think that
first party though.
Game Pass changes everything. They don't have to technically have sales. They don't have to show 10 million in the first month. They can literally drop games right on top of each other because one, they're two different genres: a vampire shooter versus maybe the best space RPG
shooter
next to Mass Effect.
Just saying, it is a shooter.
I'm May for Redfall. I had that page is open. I'm going to go with end of March.
Ooh, I think
he's absolutely right.
No, I don't know. You guys, okay.
That page is already live.
What about nobody's talking about Forza though? Forza must be end of June, right? Like,
yeah,
it must have
Forza's last in the list right now.
All right,
because
eventually they come out in summer anyway, so that makes sense.
Was Forza promised in that 12-month thing we watched last year? It was.
Yeah.
Was it? Okay.
Yeah,
they said they're sticking to that. So
yeah, Ryan McCaffrey read off the list of like, here are the ones that actually have, and here's the monster list, and that was one of them.
I didn't even think about Game Pass stuff. Like, we don't know that
Game Pass changes
it. Crazy.
Yep.
Sorry, go ahead, Jim.
And yes, we are excited for Resident Evil 4. You know damn well if it was just all of a sudden, okay, same day as Resident Evil 4, you'd be playing Starfield. And 99% of other people out there would, and that has nothing to do with, or that doesn't take away from how excited we are all for Resident Evil 4. And that might be just the kind of flex that they need to get it going. Right?
What about this? 3/2/23. What's the second?
Why 3/2/23?
Because it's opposite of the 23.
He
like
likes
a palindrome.
Yeah, palindrome.
Yeah, he likes numbers.
He's a lazy one because it's only 4 numbers long.
I mean, you laugh now. Watch when the release date is 3/2/23. I'm just saying. Anybody else on that?
I mean, unlike other publishers and stuff, Microsoft doesn't have to worry about that with Game Pass because we're still going to be subscribed. People are still going to buy and play the game, and they are two complete different genres. They're both probably going to be pretty popular. So, I mean, Microsoft can do whatever they want at this point.
I almost feel like it's going to be too much, but at the same time, it's like everyone complains, where are the games? We're going to have too much. Go ahead as I close it up here, and we're going to go on to the next one.
I would just say my last argument for this is I think that after the banner year that PlayStation had last year with first party titles, Xbox has to come out of the gate swinging. And the other part is the Redfall thing that's a guess. Redfall could be first. Redfall could be March, and then we have Starfield following. You know what I'm saying? But I think that if they're smart, they want to release Starfield as early as they can, because then it's like Elden Ring, just like you said, it goes all year round, dude. Like it's all through the summer, it's all through the fall, it's all through the winter, and it's still a banger. And then it's a shoe-in for Game of the Year. You know what I mean? Like that's the smartest strategy for just Starfield, let alone all the others.
I will just say, if it's ready, yes, the sooner the better. But I want it to be ready, and I want it to be good to go.
And one last thing, we remember Forza Horizon came out, and then 2 weeks later they dropped the Halo multiplayer. Microsoft's not afraid to drop games right on top of each other.
But I don't know.
They showed it right then and there.
Yeah, but I don't know if that was a good move. But let's move on to news story number 2. Microsoft recognizes a 300-person ZeniMax testers union. This is coming from Wesley Yinpool over at Eurogamer. Microsoft has voluntarily recognized a union formed of about 300 ZeniMax studio testers. A supermajority of workers voted to unionize, the Communication Workers of America said. The testers work across ZeniMax, which includes Dishonored, developer Arcane, Skyrim, Bethesda, Doom, developer id Software, and these testers are all currently working on a raft of games, including Redfall and Starfield. This is the first time Microsoft has agreed to recognize a union and marks the biggest video game union in the US to form. Quote, before us is an opportunity to make big changes and bring equity to the video game industry, Victoria Banos, senior QA audio tester, said. We want to put an end to sudden periods of crunch, unfair pay, and lack of growth opportunities within the company. Our union will push for truly competitive pay, better communication between management and workers, a clear path for those who want to progress their career, and more. 4 major video game unions have formed in the last year. This one at ZeniMax, one at Call of Duty developer Raven, and one at Blizzard. So all of these would be under Microsoft potentially, which is all of them are Blizzard and Activision. So Jose, are you a part of a teachers union? And please explain to me, like I'm 5, the benefits of unions in general. And the potential in the gaming world. Was there like a police union too? I don't know, Bang, maybe this applies to you. Chance? Go ahead, Jose.
So I was a part of the teachers union when I was a teacher. I am now part of the administrative union because I'm an administrator. I'm all for this, man. There's a couple things to keep in mind though, too. Just so thinking big picture, remember that there is a huge lawsuit going on, right? So there is an element of this that is probably tied to the stuff with AKB, just because like we want to show that we're for the people. And to be fair, and if I'm being very honest, I do actually believe that Microsoft, Phil Spencer, Sarah Bond, Greeny, like all of those people are pro supporting their people, right? That's what this is actually an effort to do. And I fully agree that people should be paid for their services, right? I don't like the idea of crunch. I like that people have the time to do stuff. And here's the kind of beautiful piece of this though. Microsoft says they're committed to making games better, to getting them out sooner, right? That takes people like QA, right? Like that's literally what QA does for you. So when you make it competitive by offering fair rates and better working conditions, you get more people and better people. And so at the end, like the end game is that over time, this will create better products. So ultimately, it really benefits us as gamers. Now, the other side of this you have to remember is that this also usually means things are more expensive, but we also saw a price change in games, right? Up to $70 on average. That's normal, right? That's probably been coming for years now. And so while it does suck when you're there at the game and you're like, $10 more, that sucks. You have to remember that it's all part of this bigger people. So, or puzzle, I should say. So in the end, man, I'm down for it. I'm happy to support people. Again, I think people should get paid what they deserve. And so I'm happy to see that they're supporting their workers because again, that means better for everyone, including me as a gamer. So I'm all for it. And to answer your question about generally the benefits of the union are simply that when you're negotiating things like salary, like benefits, like time off, it's a lot more powerful when you have lots of people. That's literally what the definition of a union is it's a group of people that go and argue for each other and support each other. And generally when a union gets big enough, not everyone goes because that defeats the whole purpose. It's you appoint people to represent who you like your thoughts. And then those people are the ones who make the argument or kind of the proposal for the company itself. That's what it does.
Bubble Boy, are you a union man?
I am actually. And my brother Chase, my older brother, he's like that's his whole world. And
oh no, I didn't know that.
Yeah. So I meant to text him as soon as I read this, because I think it's really good news. It is always sad to me in on the interpersonal level of different organizations and things, when if it's like take teaching for example, because that's easy for all of us. If a teacher's like, well, they're just paras, I'm more important than them, and it's like, well, you're also compensated more, right? So you don't need to treat them any differently. And I didn't realize that a lot of times, or that the QA testers were feeling like they were getting stuck right there, because in education we do see a lot of our paras that start at, I was a para while I went to school
I was
to
a
get
para
my
too.
degree to be able to be a counselor, right? And so it was news to me that that's not the way it works in the video game industry, which is I think it's great.
Yeah, no,
So
I agree. I like that sentence saying like a path for growth. I do think that that's key. Bacon, closing thoughts. Were you ever a part of any unions or any interest in this?
In my sheriff's department, if the word union was even uttered in the halls, you were instantly terminated.
Oh yeah, that
Which,
makes sense.
yeah, I mean, we had fraternal order of police, which basically covered us legally in case any issues happened. Had to use them once myself, so that was kind of nice to have. My wife's a huge fan of unions. She will tell you that to your face. And the only downside of anything is possibly cost going up. And like you just said, it's already gone up. We're at $70. So there's going to be no downside to unions. And Microsoft is basically trying to show regulators, and for a company that was, ranked one of the best places to work last year or the year before, that, hey, we allow unions in an industry that does not normally allow unions to thrive or
Oh yeah,
participate. So
now they do.
Microsoft for the win. Yeah.
First one that I recognize. Chance,
He's absolutely right.
closing thoughts.
I will say too, for our own personal Aurora Educators Association, I wasn't for a long time, and I continued to tell them, because I was like, I think it's like $70 a month I had to contribute, and I was like, I can't afford that. Like I genuinely, that is a lot of money, that I have all these different. Obviously, I could, but I was just like, show me that you're gonna like invest back in me. And when we've been consistently getting raises
Yeah,
as educators in Aurora Public Schools for a long time. And
very
I
true.
felt like it was time to be like, hey, yeah, you're right. And this last one, the last collective bargaining that we did, I mean, counselors were finally represented extremely well. And we've seen incredible gains in not just monetary compensation, but other things like caseloads and stuff. And so it gets really icky and yucky and like political, which sucks at times, because I don't like that kind of stuff. But I have really been impressed with just the way it feels in terms of support, right, and not feeling alone or like you're on an island ever. So
Very nice. Next news item number 3. High on life as Xbox Game Pass's biggest 2022 launch and the biggest third-party Game Pass launch ever by Joe Screbbles, Xbox Wire editor. And this was a few weeks ago, and we kind of mentioned it, but I wanted to clarify some things because I've been hearing a lot of different takes on this. And here it is. We're going to just read it right here. Today, we're happy to announce that High on Life, the comedy shooter featuring charismatic talking guns from Rick and Morty co-creator Justin Roiland, Squanch Games, is Xbox Game Pass's biggest launch of 2022, the biggest third-party Game Pass launch of all time, and is the biggest release of a single player only game in the service's history. Those stats are measured in terms of engagement based on the number of hours played in the first 5 days of release. This was our first time launching a game with Game Pass, said Mike Fridley, studio director and COO of Squanch Games. And we've been blown away by the response from the players who have made us the most popular game on Game Pass right now. When Squanch Games was first created, it was to make the games we wanted to play. And Game Pass is helping us reach the players that want to play those games too. Before I throw it over to Bubble Boy here, I just wanted to I have played this. I have beaten it. I believe Bacon has too. So Bacon, after Chance goes, I want to hear your thoughts on the. Oh, Jose, have you beaten it yet? Yeah. Okay. So here's my quick little review of it. I'm giving it a 4 out of 5. And we need to talk about, should we switch to numbers? But here it is. I think it's worth your time on Game Pass. I wouldn't have paid $70 for it. So pros, gameplay exceeded my expectations, especially the platforming and all the upgrades and unlocks you got. Doom movement meets Outer Worlds setting and humor. Some funny moments, but not as many as I was hoping for. The comedy was not the main selling point for me, guys. It doesn't overstay its welcome. Cons, broken achievements. It shouldn't be a con, but it's there. I'm sorry that for some people like me, apparently it matters. Gunplay was just okay. Mainly just used Kenny and didn't see a need for the other guns other than their special powers. Expected more humor, but I didn't really notice it that much. And I only laughed out loud, not anywhere near as much as in South Park games. There were a few times, but I kind of was expecting more. So before I get these two guys' little reviews or reactions to it, Bubble Boy, are you surprised that this is Xbox's biggest launch? Single player launch in Game Pass history.
I am, but even the emotion that I'm feeling more than surprise is just so excited and relieved. And this is such a perfect way for this to happen because I just hope it inspires so many more projects, not that need to be similar to this game, but similar ideas, right? Of companies saying, I want to make a game that I want to play, right? Because I think it's just going to cast such a wider net on creativity and show people that Game Pass is an extremely viable place to not just start, but to flourish, right? Even after you are a entrenched company that's out there. So I'm just, the more praise that comes in just excites me more and more. And I think that Squanch is, not that they're a huge developer or anything, but that they will be able to encourage other small companies to do really similar stuff because they are bigger, right? And it's not just gaming, it's that Rick and Morty community, and it's anything else that Justin Roiland does. So I'm just thrilled with the idea.
I really like their statement saying we want to make the games that we want to make, and Game Pass helps us. Like, that really stood out to me. Bacon, thoughts on your time with High on Life quickly? What did you like most? Would you recommend it, etc.?
I actually found the humor and the banter probably the best.
Really?
I mean,
See?
I remember,
that's funny.
I remember a spot when I had those 5 or 6 guys when you had to cross a ravine, and I shot one of them that were in the way. And the whole time I'm platforming on the other side, I kept hearing them heckle me on the other side of the map. I kept hearing everything they were saying. I was just laughing.
It's funny, dude.
I rocketing around the place.
I avoided them. I didn't kill any of them, and so they I don't want to spoil it, but like, yeah, there are little slightly different outcomes to where if you just completely ignore them.
I shot one of them because I didn't shoot the kid in the tunnel to get that first achievement.
Yeah, that was an achievement.
I'm just like, and I knew I'd missed that achievement, and I'm like, I'm shooting one of these dudes. It was pretty funny. The platforming was pretty solid. The final boss fight was absolutely hilarious. But my humors might not land for everybody. But it just shows what viral marketing can do on Twitter and people talking about it, and the Game Pass effect, the broad, the halo of it that we all talk about, and other people buy it, and then guys buy it on PC. PlayStation guys want the game. They're just not openly admitting it at this point. So but you think about it, it beat MLB The Show twice. It has beaten, what's that shooter that came out?
I mean, there are a lot of single player games. That surprises me. Of all the single player games,
just smoked Crossfire. It smoked Outriders. I mean, they put some big third-party games in there to have a game like this. That it's not a realistic shooter. It's not a wired tight Halo shooter or a Call of Duty shooter. It's a funny shooter, and it beat some pretty big titles. So when you think about it, it's a pretty big accomplishment. And Xbox, pick them up.
Yeah, and it's funny too because I was going to say, it's an accessible shooter, but not really. It's not for kids. Like, this game is definitely, it's older kids and adults. Like, if a kid played this, there's some inappropriate stuff in there. Jose, before I throw it over to you, one of my favorite parts, the Dr. Niblets fight. Hilarious. I thought that was creative so funny too, as well. Yeah. That was like, I don't want to spoil it, Chance. That was one of my favorite parts in the game, hands down, and creative. And they shout out a game that all of us have played, I believe. And I was like, what? How are they? Do you remember what game they shouted out?
Stop.
Okay. Sorry. Jose, go ahead.
I'm
What are
getting
your
to
thoughts?
I
Multiple,
really
actually,
enjoyed it in the end.
multiple. Hold on. I just remembered they shout out another big one, Chance, that you're going to be like, wow.
Stop. You get mad if I tell you, oh, it's
A
good.
shout
You're like,
out?
a spoiler.
I said a shout out a game.
Now that I know it's good.
Whatever.
Oh,
Go ahead,
that's such
Jose.
a
I just
spoiler.
remembered about that. I didn't need to write that in my review note.
I enjoyed it quite a bit, man. I'm with Dan that I think I really enjoyed the banter for a while, and I actually shouldn't say well. I enjoyed it the whole game. I think that the interactions where you come back through the portal before you kind of get into the next bounty, those ones seem to drag on just a tiny bit. Like they were just a hair longer than they should have been. But I understood why they did them, and I did appreciate it. I liked there was a good through story with like your sister and like the boyfriend and stuff like that. Like I did laugh a lot, and I enjoyed the game. I actually really appreciated it, and it's something I feel like I haven't seen in a game in a long time. And that when you do your first bounty, like which is like think of bounty like a bad guy, they show you how many there are for their whole game. Like you see it right there, and you're like, oh, okay, that just makes it a lot. I think that was a smart move for a game that's not trying to be a Halo Infinite. It's not trying to be, Super Metroid. It's just trying to be this fun little jaunt through a crazy, all these crazy planets and these crazy banter to just know exactly what you're getting into and still have some twists in there. I agree with Dan that the gun thing, like, I really wanted to use the JB Smoove gun because I like JB Smoove a lot, and I almost never did because I didn't like the gun, right? I ended up using Kenny most of the time until I got Creature, and then I used Creature a lot at the end of the game just because I could like launch a bunch of guys and then go hide for a little bit. So I did love that. I agree with Bacon. Dude, the final boss fight, I was rolling, especially that special cameo. You know what I'm talking about? I literally like laughed out loud in my basement at that point.
Who did you use on the final part of the boss fight?
No, you can't do this. Spoilers. Don't say anything.
He's
Don't
not
say
gonna know.
No, you can't.
We'll talk about that later. The one thing I will say though, that the only other tiny criticism I have is that I think the game ended so abruptly, and I don't want to spoil that, but I just feel like
did you get this?
It was really abrupt. Jose? No, I'm sure I did.
There's a lot. There's a lot explained there. I didn't say any, a special ending. That's not a spoiler. That's an achievement that you would be going for.
The things you've gotten mad at other people for.
That's not even close. Go ahead.
The other thing is that I do agree with the Metroidvania. I definitely, you could easily see like when I can see that thing and there's clearly a special wall that I can't grab onto yet, but I just didn't have the incentive to go back because it was just money. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Like that was the only thing that I just was like, man, if it was like a collectible, and I know they did like the garbage pail thing, right? A little bit, but that was
speak insane. To that. And for Chance, a little pointer for you. You do want to get money because you can build up. Did you get the booster where you can just like slide really far? I don't know if you got that. That's really fun to use. And then you can also max out
the jetpack and stuff. Yeah, like, I got all that stuff. Yeah, I got all that stuff.
I hear you, but at the same time, I think that's for like people who like the checkbox stuff. But I will say the one last thing. I don't know if I made it clear. It is very similar to Outer Worlds. Like you go to certain spots and then you kind of explore that. So I think that's actually very cool level design. Obviously not as full and as active and as alive as some of these other games, but I would play the sequel in a heartbeat and I highly recommend it. So let's move on to the next news story. Number 4. The CMA, our friends over across the pond, extends the deadline for the Microsoft Activision Blizzard investigation. An inquiry group now has until April 26, 2023 to complete report, but is aiming to do so ahead of this date. And this is coming from James Batchelor, editor-in-chief. Oh gosh, I think I got this from gamesindustry.biz. My bad. The Competition and Markets Authority has updated its timetable for its ongoing in-depth investigation into Microsoft's proposed acquisition of Activision Blizzard. The UK regulator was due to publish its findings from phase 2 investigation on March 1st. However, a new statement reveals that it has been extended to April 26, 2023. The group producing the report aims to complete the inquiry as soon as possible and in advance of this date. The CMA said the extension has been granted because of the scope and complexity of the investigation, as well as the need to factor in the large volume of evidence, as well as main party and third party submissions. Last month, the CMA reported it had received 2,600 public responses weighing in on the merger, although 500 chants were dismissed for abusive or irrelevant. And of those counted, 75% were in favor of the deal going through. The U.S.'s FTC issued a legal complaint last month to attempt to block this deal, and a trial is set for August of 2023. During the pretrial hearing this week, the FTC said there had been no substantive talks regarding possible settlements with Microsoft. Meanwhile, the European Commission is currently surveying games companies about concerns over the proposed acquisition as part of its own in-depth investigation. And lastly, some regulators around the world have already approved the deal, including Chile, Brazil, and Saudi Arabia. But Jose, let me start with you. Do you think this is a good thing, a bad thing by extending the initial ruling period? And are you still confident that this goes through for Bacon's sake before he loses his mind?
I mean, I'm with Bacon that at this point I just wanted to go through, and I'm clearly on the side of wanting this to pass. I would have been in that 75% of people that sent comments in, not the abusive ones. That's Dan. But to say like, I still think it's going through. Like, I really do. I think it's just now we're just getting into the legal piece of like, you have to give this concession and you have to pay this amount of money and you have to agree to these terms, which I'm fine with. But I think what's most frustrating to me is I think Microsoft is too. I think they're genuinely like, what do we have to do? We're supporting unions. We are agreeing to 10-year deals with Call of Duty. We're committing to like giving like everything they're asking for, they're getting. And I think what is also just frustrating to me on the PlayStation side, I know we're not a PlayStation podcast, is that all these things about like if they get Activision clean Blizzard, they're going to be too strong in the industry that no one will stand a chance and they're going to be disrupt the whole market. And then literally, I think it was yesterday,
30 million PlayStation 5
units are sold, and the drought is over. And I'm just like, it's just frustrating to me that clearly it's like one hand is not talking to the other, or that just has not been presented. And again, even though we're very passionate about this and we're in quote unquote the gaming industry as podcasters, these are people that have nothing to do with games that are making these decisions. They probably have never picked up a controller in their entire life. You see what I'm saying? And so that's just what's frustrating. So, in terms of the date, I don't know if that's good or bad. I mean, I think usually if they give them an extended time and they come back earlier, that usually doesn't mean they can find as many arguments as they were hoping for. That's just my logic in my brain. I also think that if Microsoft is able to convince other legislative bodies, so not just the CMA, but if they could take care of the one in Europe, if they obviously have already taken care of Chile and Brazil and Saudi Arabia, that starts to lean the ship in their favor, right? So to be able to say like, look, all these other people are cool with it. Why is it just you guys? So I think that while that is still going on the legal side, I'm sure they are also kind of hedging their bets with some other places as well.
Bacon, I know this is a passion project of yours. Tell me your reaction to them delaying I'm disappointed because I'm like, all right, at least by March 1st, we're going to know something big time. And now it's further out. But like they said, they're aiming to get it done beforehand. Bacon, go ahead.
I guess as long as it's done before that June 18th or July 18th deadline date they set when they agreed to this acquisition, I don't think anything bad can come from this. It just gives them more time to collect more information and really show that they're earning their paycheck over there at the CMA and the EU. But the stuff coming out of that pretrial hearing on the 3rd, was that yesterday, the day before, it's very encouraging because they're not filing it in federal court. They're given permission to start the talks. And from what I understand, they're going to wait for what the CMA and the EU come up with concessions. And then Microsoft can just walk those concessions right over to the FTC and just end it then and end it there. I also hear they're probably going to close before the FTC even comes back, which I guess is their right to do as well, as long as they have all this ammunition, all the bullets in the chamber. And it's maddening to continue, but it gives us something to talk about, and it gives every podcast in America something to talk about for a few more months. So let's buckle up and go for the ride.
Yeah, hopefully less though. And I know everyone's sick of it, but we got a lot of games coming, so we won't have to worry about this. Bubble Boy, any closing thoughts, or should I move on?
Yeah, no. Because did you guys watch Chappelle's show as like religiously as I did?
No, not religiously. Nope.
Dang it! Because he has the one where he was talking. He's like, we got a coalition of the willing, of like all these like, back when. Never mind. God,
just bring up the Prince and
Chile and Brazil and Saudi Arabia. I'm like, great, like, and not to like be down on those countries, but like, so what? What does it matter? I don't want to
tipping the
hear
scale,
any
man. It's
more.
tipping the scale
No, I
that
know,
way.
but I don't want to hear any more about this until I hear a
Basically,
decision.
this CMA, this will be big. Whatever they decide in the EU, then that's probably where it goes. News topic number 5. Bacon's favorite company, ASUS, announces new Xbox controller with a built-in OLED screen by Tom Warren over at The Verge. Gotta love the old tomboy. ASUS is releasing a new Xbox PC controller later this year that has a built-in OLED display and a host of connectivity options for PC. The ROG, I don't know, is it Ricari Pro, has a tiny 1.3-inch OLED display above the Xbox button that will display custom animations, battery or microphone status, and more. 2 buttons on top of the Ricari Pro support controller profile switching during games with button remapping, joystick sensitivity, and trigger modes and dead zones, all customizable with the Asus Armory Crate PC app. And there are also 4 programmable rear buttons, trigger locks, and a circular D-pad. This is also the first Xbox licensed controller with tri-mode connectivity. That's Bluetooth, a low latency 2.4 gigahertz RF mode, and a wired USB-C. While it features the designed by Xbox branding, ASUS describes the Ricari Pro as a Pro PC controller, and it only mentions connectivity to the Series X and S through wired USB-C. That could mean many of the Pro features will only fully function on PC. The controller also includes a built-in ESS DAC with a 3.5 millimeter headphone jack and a mute button. Asus hasn't provided an exact release date for the Ricari Pro, nor pricing. All we know is that it will be available at some point in Q1. Bacon, you are the big Asus simp. When are you buying this, and how much are you paying for it?
This is a day one purchase. I just rebuilt my PC last week, and I paid $400 extra for a motherboard just because it's Asus and Republic of Gamers. I'm such a simp. I'm openly willing to admit it. My OLED I'm looking at right now, my gaming OLED is also Asus. Everything I don't have an Asus phone because I can't do the Google thing. But I've always my last 8 or 9 motherboards have all been Asus. I can't not get Asus, and it's going to work on the Xbox, of course.
With wired,
and you notice that Microsoft has never allowed a third party to have their wireless. Really?
This is wireless. This is the only one. Scuf has the wireless technology. I use this wirelessly. Yes.
Now, is that an original Xbox controller that they gut and then put their paddles on, though?
It might be, because I
think that's their way around it.
Maybe you're right. And I do want to point out, so Bacon, guys, so this is why I like this controller. I can't really see how I'm clicking A and B down here, and then I can just slide over to get X, Y.
Okay,
so
nice.
I'm not like some people have like 4. They do this. I don't know how you would do this. This allows me to use both with the same finger. I just slide up and down. So in case you're interested, boys, I'll do a quick review. Yes, Jose, will you just?
But when you think about it, Mad Cats, Turtle Beach, any of these guys have done third-party controllers with the Xbox branding have never had.
And I didn't know that, Bacon.
Wireless.
And someone actually, I was reading about this in the comments, and you're right. This is the only one that you can buy that has the wireless built in. Otherwise, they have to be wired, because Xbox is so tight about their wireless connectivity technology.
I think they literally take the internals of the first-party stuff and add the paddles and whatever upgrades onto the already done Xbox controller. I'm pretty sure that's how Scuf does it. That's pretty sweet.
Yeah. So, and I bought a black one too. So it is pretty dang cool, but very customizable. It has magnets on there. So very cool. I got to do the 1 minute for this, Jose. That'll be my next project.
That's a good one.
Clicks right back on. So, Bubble Boy, any interest in going away from your Elite, or are you just an Elite simp forever? Yeah.
No. And I'm so glad to see everything else that you read in that article, that it's not just the OLED screen, because I'm like, who cares? Like, what are they just trying to like copy the Dreamcast here? And the only thing that makes me kind of like giggle about the OLED screen was the very last sentence on there. It says, now who's going to get Doom running on it, right? Like that kind of stuff will happen later on. And then you'll have like who can beat Melania the fastest while also not dying in Doom at the same time kind of thing, like playing them both. I don't know. I think it's useless, but I'm glad Bacon's really excited, and literally all the other stuff on there sounds really impressive.
So Jose, what about this look? See, so there's the black one with the white buttons. How does that look? Imagine if these are white and the thumbsticks are black, though. What is that a good look, Jose?
I would need to see it.
Okay,
I can't
I'll do
visualize that in my
pictures
head.
for you. I'll do pictures for you. Jose,
how many of those little shells do you have?
I just bought the black one because I wanted the black rings. So the one, if you buy it prepaid, has yellow rings, but I wanted to have the black around it. But I'm like, I don't know. We'll talk more about this later. I will say though, overall, I do think the Elite is the better made controller. I do have to say that I do think it is superior. The problem with this is my hands get a little bit more sweaty on this, and this does have like a nice grip on it. But once you start using it, it gets all slippery and slidey, Jose. But the problem with the Elite is I can't figure out how to use the 4 on the back. I can only use 2. So Jose, does this interest you at all? Pro controllers, or are you just sticking with your standard Elite as well?
No, I'm gonna stick with my Elite. I'm very happy with my Elite, but I like Chance, and I think it's rad. I think in addition to obviously just being happy for Bacon, and he gets to live in ROG land, which is where he's very comfortable and good.
Republic
I also think
gamers.
I also think that it's very cool to see again some of the partnerships, because we've said that before on the show. We really like when companies do silly partnerships like the Fiedler, right, for the Halo stuff and that kind of thing. But I also think it's really cool that we're seeing it also across industry, across platform, right? That really does hint towards one, Xbox being really committed to the PC side, which could be really big in the long run. And I also think it just shows kind of that camaraderie of the industry of like, look, we're in this together and we're going to get a lot further working together than working against each other. And so I just like that aspect as well. I do want to ask Bacon, have they said what the MSRP is on this? I didn't know.
They have not.
No,
what is your
$50? That's my guess.
What's your top? What's the top amount that you would pay to get this? I'm just
curious.
curious.
Bacon's gonna pay whatever.
No. Like I know at some point Nell would tell you no. What is the top?
Not true.
Nell never knows my expenditures. She just knows I take my tips and I pay my Micro Center card with my tips, and none of it ever comes out of the account. So she has no idea about any of this.
That's fair. But what would your top dollar be? I'm curious.
My top dollar, I paid $179 for the last Elite, so I think I'd go to $220 probably.
All right, this thing's going to be $250.
It's going to be $250.
I can't imagine it would be much more.
It's going to be $250. Okay. Sorry, Bacon.
It does have RGB, so that's.
Oh yeah. I hope it's sub 200. That's what I hope.
Not going to happen. Not gonna, guys, this one right here, standard is 220, 230. Yeah. So, and it was wireless. So, let's move on to the next story. These next few are going to be a little bit quicker. This is news number 6. Power your adventure with the Xbox Series X and Forza Horizon Premium Edition bundle. This is available from participating retailers for $559 US. It includes the Xbox Series X, obviously, and Forza Horizon 5 Premium Edition, which includes the Hot Wheels expansion, VIP car pass, a VIP pass, car pass, welcome pack, and the second expansion. There's another thing we're forgetting that should be releasing in 2023. This came from Bree Adams, senior marketing over at Xbox on the Xbox Wire. This just came out today. Bubble Boy, I wanted to ask you, is this a good deal?
It is if you don't already own an Xbox, it is. And at first
over that $500 price point, I don't know, you guys. This is the raising the price. This is raising the price, right, Jose?
So you are getting a game that is, yes, on Game Pass, but you are getting it to own yourself, right? And maybe, I guess it's probably just a digital code that they'll give you for a download for it. But I have been, of all the DLC and stuff that I pre-order, Horizon and the Forza IP always deliver. They have yet to stop delivering quality DLC, quality car packs. They are constantly updating content. I do
gotta shout
think
you out.
it's
You're
worth.
one of the few people literally in the world who have every single achievement. Insane. I still
Oh,
can't
I
believe
know.
it. Oh, or sorry, shoot. Screw the stupid. What is it called? What is it called? The eliminator. Oh, I hate it.
Chicken dinner. I don't have the shirt anymore. It's upstairs. No, I really do think, and for us, obviously not. But if you are randomly, wasn't it Jose, like one of your brother-in-laws or something, or a cousin-in-law that is considering possibly getting, or if you're wanting to upgrade from an S to an X, I think it's. I would be excited for it.
So, Jose, I wanted to ask you. This is a price increase, right? But not a price increase since they're throwing in the game.
No,
I'm
no,
just
I
saying.
don't.
It's
I mean,
not
it
because
is,
it's a
but I don't see
bundle.
it as a. I don't see it as a
You guys
price
don't
increase
see
because
this being bad
what
that
you're
they're
getting.
selling an Xbox for $560, which is more than what any PlayStation costs.
It's a bundle.
No,
It's not
but
You
I
can
see
get
it
the
as
God of War
bad
bundle. How much did you
because
pay for that, Chance?
the exact same price.
560, 550?
Yes.
Oh, that's
Yes.
right. They did charge you 550.
Yes.
Okay, go ahead.
I got charged for God of War.
But the reason that I think it's bad is because it's not a custom box. Like if you're gonna make a bundle for me, why does
There
it not
was the
have a custom
PlayStation one,
skin and
though, to be
controller?
fair.
No, but that's the part that upsets me is like this is news. This literally made Xbox's newswire, and it is great, but it's literally no different than if you said, "Hey, you buy an Xbox, we'll give you a code for a game in the store." That's
And they have
literally the
that
same thing.
Forza themed controller. That would
I
have been
know
a nice
that's what I'm saying.
touch at
Just throw in
least.
the
Yeah,
Forza
you're right,
controller,
Jose.
even. But like, dude, it wouldn't have been
100%
that hard for them to make a custom box. Even just could a pinstripe down the center, a
Yeah.
double pinstripe, and make
Yeah.
it look white with like red pinstripe would look dope and easy to do. That was a miss in my part, I would say. That
Or
would be a
include
miss
like
thing.
That controller
Hot
would have
Wheels
been sick.
car, something like that.
That Forza controller would have been sick. But
Yeah. And I love Forza. I'm not hating on
oh
it.
yeah, you're
I
right.
think
Chance is
that was a
absolutely
miss for
right.
them.
Like everything, he's right. Like Forza's amazing, and every time I go back and play the DLC or play it, by the way, a great game for kids. There are so many accessibility things where it'll just race for them.
Yeah.
Grayson just loves
Great.
driving around the world. I don't have to worry about it.
Yep.
Great kids game. Bacon, closing thoughts on this, or do you want to move on?
For me, I mean, it's a great game, and if you get it and you subscribe to Game Pass, then what's your value in getting the game other than the DLCs, of course, which
that was a
are
$50 thing,
really,
and I did buy that.
right.
So
And that's fair. It's just a weird game they chose, and thought maybe it'd be Halo or like a pre-order for Starfield. I mean, who knows if they're going to do that or not?
yeah,
But is this going to move a lot of boxes? I know you. I read the other day that you can't even get. Sony will not ship out a basic PlayStation. Every PlayStation that shipped for the last year and a half, 2 years has had a game packed in. I guess to show value in their price increase. I don't know, but I guess it's smart of Microsoft to do this, and they are available. I was on the store last night, and there are Xboxes available to buy straight from the Microsoft store, the Series X's. So, I mean, the shortage is over. I guess if you are a racing fan, I mean, you can get it, but it just seems like a weird game for me to be included at this point.
It is a little weird, but at the same time, it probably is their best game of the generation.
Right, and the DLC adds the value to I haven't even
more
bought
to
it.
come. It's obviously if it's new, even for someone like me, like let's say my Xbox broke. Well, maybe not me, but I'm saying that with that unannounced DLC content still coming, that it's still going to keep growing. Right, there's more for this game to come. So
good point. I guess you're right. I forgot that the God of War one was 550. So moving on to the next news story, news number 7, games coming and leaving Game Pass in January of 2023. And I got this from Pure Xbox. All the games coming in January 2023. We have January 3rd already. Stranded Deep is here. Ooh, Bogus, it's back. Mortal Shell Enhanced Edition. Maybe I need to check this out. Maybe I need to check out the
I tried it. It just didn't. You can't go from Elden Ring to something like that. Like if you have a massive break. Did you play it, Bacon?
I started it on Xbox, and it did not connect with me. I saw it on the upgraded version on the PC Game Pass, and I was actually going to download it last night, but I have yet to do it. But yeah, I get what you're saying about it's just a weird connection to it. So
August, send in your review for that. I'd like to hear. And I don't know, I can see that because you're right. I'm playing Dark Souls 1 and I haven't gone back. I did like the first boss and I'm like, I'm going to play High and Life.
So for me, sorry, that's a
okay. Next one. So sorry, these were all console, cloud, and PC. January 19th, Persona 3 Portable, console, PC, cloud. January 19th as well, Persona 4 Golden Chance.
Maybe I don't know. I wish
You
I had a
used to be
different
the biggest JRPG fan. You make me sick.
He really did.
Sorry, Final Fantasy 15.
January 20th, Monster Hunter Rise. This is cloud, console, PC. January 31st, Age of Empires 2 Definitive Edition is on console and cloud. And January 31st, Inkulinati console and TBD.
I'm not gonna fart for that one because I don't even know.
And Robot Quest on console. I think I remember. I'm watching the trailer right now. I think if I remember right, yeah, this looks like Pentiment. So you're definitely not going to be playing that one. And then these 5 games will be leaving Xbox Game Pass on January 15th. And this one kind of sucks. There was one I wanted to try. Danganronpa Trigger Happy Havoc Anniversary Edition. Nope. But I did want to try Nobody Saves the World, Jose. It is leaving January 15th. It's okay. That's probably one I should buy anyway. Let's be real. Or it might come back. Paparazzi, the Anacrusis Project, I believe, and Windjammers 2. Guys, I don't really have much to say about this. If you want, does anyone want to say anything, or can we move on to go ahead, Bubble?
Yeah, I do, because the one that I didn't fart for was that Stranded Deep. I'm fairly certain that's going to be my next Backbone game that I'm going to play. I've seen some really good things about it, and it feels like something that might just be like not super intensive. I've heard it's pretty well done. So
got it. News number 8.
Animations look a little janky on it though.
Yeah, I've seen the people that play it are like really, really invested into it. Like it's one that like if you can get, or if it's for you, that it's really for you. And I figured just the way I've been playing the Backbone, like that would be perfect for me, that I can, hey, I tried a couple times, and if I don't love it, great, I'll set it back down. But if I do, it seems like, at least without doing a ton of research, something that you could play easily and pick up and put down.
News story. What is this? Number 8. And this is kind of wrapping up the news of these next 2 ones. And I just wanted to say, for news story number 8, kudos to Sony, guys. Sony announces Project Leonardo, a PlayStation 5 accessibility controller. This is coming from Ash Parrish, and I think I got this. Oh, I can't remember. This might have been on The Verge. Sony shared in an official blog post that it consulted with video game accessibility advocates like Able Gamers and Special Effect to create a controller that is highly configurable and works in tandem with many third-party accessibility accessories. Leonardo's kit features a PlayStation 5 face and trigger buttons that can be swapped around a wide circular gamepad, as well as a joystick which can be positioned relative to the gamepad. It will also come with accessories in a variety of shapes and sizes for players to find a configuration that works for their strength, range of motion, and particular physical needs. And it has a 3.5 millimeter auxiliary jacks to plug in third-party accessibility accessories similar to Microsoft's adaptive controller. Kudos to Sony, you guys, but I just want to point out and thank Microsoft and Xbox for starting this movement that should have been there from the beginning with the adaptive controller back in September of 2018. You guys, is when that controller came out, and it was a $99 retail price. So again, when everybody games, we all win, as Phil Spencer likes to say. And this is absolutely great for Sony. You got to respect them for stepping in, but also shout out to Microsoft and Xbox for getting all of this started. And hopefully we see more controllers. Anybody have any comments on this? Or
he's absolutely right.
Perfectly
Yeah,
said.
no, I think you did a perfect job summing it up.
Last item of the news topic number 9, and this is just a positive way to end the news for the week. Skyrim is in Halo Forge, and this comes from
oh yeah, I like this idea.
I saw this on Twitter, and this is coming from Rebs Gaming. Skyrim's Whiterun City has been created in Halo Infinite Forge by Bullet to the Head 9. If you want to check out this remake, he shares the link right now. Guys, I don't know if you watched it, but incredible. I can't imagine playing a multiplayer match on Whiterun. That's amazing.
I would.
Oh, one more thing. Not only Did he create that? He also did Riverwood Village, the village that you basically get to right at the beginning. Shout out. These creations are so cool. I don't know if you've seen some people fighting in the Waffle House. Jose, we need to jump in and just do a Forge night where we
That's
go
what I'm
play
saying,
these
bud. Let's
custom
do some
games,
Forge
man.
stuff.
They look so good. So go ahead, guys. What do you think of this?
Count me in. And we'll get to why I say that a little bit later with our resolutions, but oh my goodness, count me in. If you can get to it easily, right? Like it's
Yeah, you
are
just do
these
like
things
custom
easy
browser,
to
and I think you
yeah, oh my gosh. Oh, it makes me giddy about it. And this is the kind of stuff, right, that I'm like, this is just exciting for everybody. If it's not your thing, oh well, not a big deal. You just don't boot it up, right? And you play regular Halo or whatever. But if you liked both of those games, how could this not just tickle every one of your fancies?
And someone who's been sitting in this town in the last couple of days and watching the footage
not
right
knowing
now
what
on
to
Twitter,
do and just being frozen.
it is absolutely spot freaking on. And
oh yeah,
I didn't see it till I saw it in the dock, and this is absolutely
bacon. I haven't played this
insane.
in forever, and I know exactly everything.
Right.
I wanted to read that comment. What was it from? Bethesda responded and said that guy wasn't going to find his way to the Cloud District. It's that one guy you always find, and he's always like, "Have you been to the Cloud District yet?" Oh man, I wanted to read that. Dang it! Sorry.
And it just shows what an ingenious addition Forge is to this game, and can give it life for a really, really long time. And it's just
and that's why it's so surprising too, because I heard Ryan McCaffrey on Unlocked today say that he thinks Halo's going to switch to Unreal, but it's like, why would they switch when all this stuff, amazing stuff, is being done in their internal engine right now, like all this stuff from Forge? So I don't know. Who knows if that's true? I don't know if that's true. But guys, that has been the Xbox news for the week. We did it. I think it was a great initial way to start the show. Great segment. Let's jump into kind of our closing topic for the week, our gaming resolutions for 2023 / a recap of 2022. Do you guys remember your 2022 resolution?
Yeah, I wouldn't have looked them up.
Okay, I will start us off first here. I looked them up as well. I was listening on the way back home. My first resolution was to play what I wanted to play. I accomplished that. That was a check mark. I definitely this year played things I wanted to play. I remember saying that I was going to play Batman Arkham Asylum again. I definitely played that. Played some oldies. That's a check mark for me. The next one was, does this count? It was not caring about achievements as much.
You miserable failure.
Not even close.
I think less. But I still care about them. Yeah, I cannot say that this is a success. And I believe the last one was XRT and trying to grow the podcast. I'm gonna have to say a fail on this one as well.
I disagree.
Yeah, come on, man.
No, we'll talk about that later.
400 views, didn't we, on the one?
We'll talk about that later. But for the most part, I think I care less. I went after some trophies this year, so that's not as much about achievements. But here is my goal for my gaming resolution. And I thought of it as, this is a timeline of things I want to play this year. Okay. Of course, playing what I want to play and trying to care less about achievements, that should always be a priority in our gaming lives, especially playing what you want to play. You play to have fun in games.
You play to win the game.
That is the whole point. Gameplay and fun is what matters. So here is my goal for the year, guys. This is my timeline of games I want to complete this year. January, I would like to beat Dark Souls 1, Terminator Resistance, and the Modern Warfare 2 campaign. February, Atomic Heart, Sekiro, The Last of Us Part 2, and Destiny 2 Lightfall? Question mark. Again, hear me out. This is just my timeline. I don't really plan on doing that. We've got some gaps coming up, so don't worry. I know it seems like a lot.
Resolution is I don't really plan on doing it.
March, Wolong, Fallen Destiny, Resident Evil 4 Remake, Jedi Survivor? Question mark.
Starfield.
April.
Starfield,
and any previous games I didn't complete. So there's where we get a little bit of break, you guys. April, there's nothing. I think, is that when Zelda comes out? Who cares? Starfield and the games I previously mentioned that I'm probably not going to have beaten by the time, that's what I would like to add to the backlog, obviously. But these are games I want to beat. May, Redfall and previous games. June, Diablo 4, Forza Motorsport, obviously previous games as well. And then here's where it gets crazy. Well, not crazy. We don't know these. July through December, to be announced release dates for Alan Wake 2. These are the ones I want to play and beat. So these are, I'm going to play them this year. Well, you'll see it in a second. Alan Wake 2, Cocoon, Flintlock, Siege of Dawn. Completely forgot about that one. Can't wait for that. Lies of P. I am super pumped for Lies of P. That game
Did
is
you
going to be
listen
amazing.
to Podcast
Yeah, I did.
Unlocked this week? It was a joke. They're
like the
the
Pinocchio being the main character and
Yes,
everything.
they
Yeah.
started it as a joke, and they were like, "Well, actually, I think we got
Yeah,
something
they
here."
definitely do. Marvel's Miles Morales and Spider-Man 2, maybe. If I have time, maybe. I did like
Dude,
Spider-Man.
it's 7 hours max.
It's on sale too.
Oh, the new you're talking about the new
Yeah,
one.
the new one, I couldn't
Sorry,
stand.
never mind.
I'd like to see the improvements, but am I gonna have to know Miles stuff? Probably. So we'll see. That backlog, that'll be backlog. Replaced. System Shock. I forgot about that. Are they like remaking that? Like, yeah, I'm in. Prey
Yeah,
for System
yeah.
Shock. Come on. And then the last case of Benedict Fox, another one I think people are forgetting. And then maybe wait for the reviews, or sorry, maybe wait on these or wait for the reviews on these games. AC Mirage, Sifu, coming to Xbox, Hellblade 2, and Hellblade 2 question mark, or any unannounced Xbox first party games or any big day one game passes we don't know so far. So that is my gaming resolution / timeline. Who would like to go next?
I'll go next.
Okay, Jose, go ahead.
I did not do that like you at all. That's okay though. My resolutions from 2022. First one was to finish Dark Souls 3 and Elden Ring. I did half of that. I did finish Elden Ring. I did not go back and finish Dark Souls 3. I'm perfectly content with that. My next thing was to buy an Elite Series 2, which I did that, and then to customize it, I did not do that. So that I moved over to this year's. I'll get time to it this year. To finish Forza 5, nope, not even close, because I just have too much fun and I get like sidetracked in it, but I still love playing it. To play Cyberpunk, which I did that, and to make some custom Halo vans, I also did not do that, but I have the design. I just not actually made them yet, so that's on the docket as well. For this year, my resolutions are not divided on a timeline. I just made a list of resolutions for myself. The first is I want to finish Starfield. I know I'm going to play it. I know I'm going to love it, but I know it's also going to be a massive, massive game, and I just don't play RPGs quickly. So my goal is by December to be through the campaign of Starfield. I also want to, I already said, customize the controller. I want to play more with my daughter. That was one of the big resolutions I had. She is now just turned 8 in December. We started playing Lego Star Wars, which I really enjoyed. I want to play Costume Quest with her. I want to play Forza with her. Like, I really, really want to get her more into games. She was actually watching a video about Minecraft today, like on her own on YouTube. So like I'm hoping we're venturing that way. So I'm going to try to cultivate that a little bit. And then my last thing is I really want to keep the Nerd Fest stuff going. You know, I thought I'd play more with the Nerd Fest over Christmas, and we got some good time. We really did. But, you know, just as life gets harder and busier for all of us, like there are many times where I'm like, man, I wish I was gaming with my friends. And so I just want to make sure that we don't lose that. I know we'll talk a little bit more of that when we talk about what we've been playing, but those are my big resolutions. I also made some resolutions for the nerd chat itself. Do you want me to save those, or are we going to do
save those, please. Save
okay.
those. We're going to
So those are my big gaming ones. So again, finish Starfield, custom controller, play with my daughter, and keep Nerd Fest going. Those are my 4 resolutions this year. Chance or Bacon, you guys want to go next?
Yeah, I got it. I like those. So from last year, I had not buying any like ultimate editions before I know anything about the games. Hashtag what was it?
Battlefield for
Breakpoint. You know what's funny? Alan just bought Breakpoint for $12, and he's like, "I'm excited to play."
It wasn't a bad game.
Yeah.
I still don't know what extra content. I think there was that Terminator one, and and the whole Assassin's Creed Valhalla where I can't play the Dawn of Ragnarok even though I bought the $120 anyway. I like to give myself like an incomplete maybe on that one because
You did buy an Ultimate PS5 edition. I want to point that out.
No, I didn't. I just got a bundle. That's not the same. I'm not gonna count it. What I was gonna reference was the Lego Star Wars. They had like the $60 version and the $70 version where you got like all the extra characters. It's like that. I don't know if that counts. It was $10 extra. It wasn't double the price. So, but I did splurge on that one. So maybe a fail. Play more with Cora. I absolutely nailed that one. I can't like inundate her, so I don't know like if knocking it out of the park certainly wouldn't be like I've created an addiction in her, but I think she plays a healthy amount, which is maybe like once or twice a month with me when we're down in the basement and she's not doing other things and she sees like the Spider-Man gymnastics and she wants to join in on that. She did play Peppa the Pig with me and stuff, so that was cool. I think I won that one. The one I failed miserably was play more with my friends, and they can back that.
Yeah,
one
you
up
did.
Sure. I think the only time I actually did play with any of you was when we played that little bit of Battlefield 2042 for just a few different nights. It was mostly just Jose and I think Daniel that one night, so that kind of dropped the ball on that one. But for this year, so I want to spend more money on gaming in general. And my wife won't listen to this anyway, so I can say that. And I honestly don't spend a lot of money on it to begin with. I think we've all said on here how it is a fairly cheap hobby. If you ask anybody that golfs or does things like that,
Snowboards.
that is super, super expensive. It really isn't. And when I say spend more money on gaming, I mean, I kind of want to go in the opposite direction of last year. I'd love to buy a collector's edition. Like I know Jose's days away from his Dead Space collector's edition. I've never bought a collector's edition. I'm hoping maybe like if Starfield announces one that there's something in there that draws me to that. But then also like more accessory stuff. So like things that aren't necessarily gaming, but like maybe a really nice gaming chair that I see like Bacon has there.
Ooh, that Halo one.
Oh,
There's actually a new ASUS one. There's a new ASUS one I just saw. It looks pretty sweet, I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, just things like that. That I want to encourage the medium on a broader spectrum, not just the games itself, but other industries getting in. So for sure, spend more money on it. I think that'll be easy to do. And I really do want to commit to, I'm going to call it my where we dropping resolution, because you guys text it almost nightly. Somebody's asking where we dropping in the nerd chat, and I don't think I've ever answered that call. So
time to buy Call of Duty. I'm hooked.
I know. The last one, which is will be really easy to go back and document. I found out I got 1,000 out of 1,000 or platinum on 12 different games in 2022. So I want to raise that number to anywhere from 15 to 20.
So opposite you.
Dang, big baller over here.
Jeez, how's that opposite? What's opposite?
I thought you wanted
opposite of Dan.
Yeah, I thought you wanted to care less. I you're gaming to have fun.
Absolutely, I've never said I wanted to care less about.
So here's the thing: I got to go back. To
always been an achievement whore.
Going back, I've been thinking about it, guys. I really do need to stop caring about it, because have I ever think about it? Think of this. Think of this. I thought about this the other day. Have I ever Have I ever gotten a compliment on my gamer score in my entire since 2006? From anybody in my life besides you guys? Has anyone besides you guys has ever been like, man, that's a sick gamer score, dude? You're a badass. The answer is no. So that just proves how much that caca is worth, and I shouldn't care, right, Jose? We play to have fun in games, and I did.
It's not that you shouldn't care. I like getting achievements. It's fun when you hear the pop, and especially when they have like funny names. But I don't live to go check out the whole list and complete them. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I'll admit I take pride when I'm like number one in our friend group.
Jose was number one
on January 1st.
Something. Yeah.
But that happened once, dude, ever. So it's just more of like a novelty.
Win by default. Bacon, what about you? What about your gaming resolutions for 2023?
I failed miserably in one from last year. I was trying to get to 100,000 gamer score, and I got to 55 or 57.
Dude, that's insane.
It is.
I completed 19 games. One of them was Peppa the Pig.
No shame in that.
But one of my resolutions last year, I remember when you guys were always telling me about Mass Effect, and I did buckle down, and it is my favorite game and franchise of all time. I'm currently halfway through 3 on my insanity run. It's just the drive to finish those achievements. That's my magnum opus, is to get.
You'll have it over Bubble
Get the insanity run done.
I haven't. It didn't pop. Asshole.
My resolution for this year is to finish more games. Dan's always busting my chops about. I start a lot of games and I get hours into them, and then I'm like, "Hey, squirrel!" and I get onto something else.
So bad.
And like I was so far into this Mass Effect run, I did 1 and 2 back to back on Insanity, and 3 has just been sitting there. And I'm like 3 nights ago, I'm like, no, I'm stopping. I had to put down other games.
Yeah, he's been ignoring our invites to COD to play Mass Effect. So I'm proud of you.
That's pretty good. Yeah, I know. That's pretty good. And that's one of my for this year is to play less Warzone. I've got to do that. It takes so much of my time, and I get nothing else.
Because a match is like 45 minutes. That's the problem.
Not only that, but
I find myself 8 hours later,
dude. To get unlocks for attachments, you guys, you have to use like basically every gun now to unlock certain things. Right. It's not like tied to like you want that red dot for your P90. No, you have to unlock it on the random shotgun or something like that, which is good and bad, right? It makes you use different guns, but it also increases that grind level to keep you playing for insane amounts of time. Sorry, go ahead, Bacon.
So once I finish a battle pass, I need to just put it down till the next battle pass comes out. That's something I'm going to do. And I got to catch Bizzle this year. He's 7 ahead of me. He was 30 ahead of me when we became friends. So he's 7 ahead of me now. He hadn't been doing anything for a while, but now he's doing things again and just getting up there. I caught Jose and passed him. Now I got to catch Bizzle, and then Chance, you're next. That's a long way away.
The window is open because I've been getting trophies lately. Achievements. So
I just want to have more fun in games this year. Play more RPGs. And I got to finish The Witcher.
I would just suggest. I like your goals. Or sorry, what
and then the one main goal I wanted is to get Skyrim done before
Starfield.
Starfield. I'm going to do that.
That should be next after Mass Effect. It's a great game. Oh gosh, just go join the what is it? The Dark Brotherhood. Man, go do their quest line. Oh, he has to be invited, right? You have to go to a town. I'll tell you later. Guys, that has been our gaming resolutions / recap from 2022 and resolutions for 2023. And let's close or tie in with this and close the topic with goals for the Nerd Chat and Xbox podcast. So guys, here's what I wrote down. Goals for the Nerd Chat if we are serious about growing the channel. And let's just have, a moment of humility and transparency here, guys. Our podcast really hasn't grown this year. We consistently average the same 20 to 30 listeners. Let's be real. Okay. I see the numbers on Anchor, right? We probably get around the same on YouTube as well. And to be fair, I'm not sure if these are just listens per Spotify. I don't know if it's including Apple Podcasts. I'm assuming it doesn't. I'm assuming this is all just people on Spotify. It really hasn't grown this year at all. You can see a spike whenever we release an episode. The same consistent people listen to it, and that's it. Okay, so if we are serious about growing this channel, growing our new brand, rebranding to the Nerd Chat, which, by the way, I love the name. I also thought about Nerdfest, taken everywhere. Shockingly, Nerdfest was taken. And I was like, oh, that's got to be money.
I believe that.
No. Yeah. So here are the my personal goals for the Nerd Chat and Xbox podcast. I have to treat this like a job and not just a hobby. I have to put in real-time work. I hope you noticed it today when I was reading the news today. I spent a lot of time preparing that. I don't know if I'll share that with you guys.
I noticed it in the way the notes just showed up.
Yeah. So you should see my notes. I have 7 pages over here on my notes. And then I said, I kind of just said that I need to take the news seriously and prep better. So I think I'm going to try to do a better job preparing on that. I need you guys to be ready to talk these topics. And I feel like you guys did a great job today. We need to respect the listeners' time and our time as well. I don't know if we need to always be an hour and a half. I don't know if we have to be less or more, but I want it to respect everybody's time. We need to, or I need to, or I'm going to try to create at least one monthly video. Okay. I'd like to try to get more quick 5-minute reviews and or shorts. So that kind of ties into the monthly video. I'm going to open the YouTube channel to you guys to upload your shorts and videos. It's very simple to do. I can share that with you now. I know how to do it. Jose, you can start and upload your quick review once we get the topics or the new logo done. Still working on that. The one I still have is still the rough draft. I'll make sure and have it done before this releases. Even if it's not, I can always change it. And then try to get, we need to play, last goal, or I guess comment. We need to play into the YouTube games, i.e., we need to play into good thumbnails, title of episodes, etc. So hands down, that video that got the most views, it was our title and Jose's artwork. Ever since Jose has killed it with thumbnails, we've got more views than some of my caca ones, or I should say amateur ones. But if we really want to grow, we gotta have a catchy title and we gotta have a catchy thumbnail, and we need to produce content. So those are my personal goals for the Nerd Chat. Jose, I know you had some right away, so tell me what you were thinking.
So very similar. I put current follower count. I didn't put a specific number. I just put in the sense that like I'm very grateful for truly all of our loyal listeners. I know a lot of them are our close friends, family, people at Bear Creek. Like I really, really genuinely do appreciate that. But I also do admit that like while I didn't really start this podcast with the intention of like anything more than just talking with some of my best friends, obviously getting to talk to some cool people and chatting about games, I think it would be cool to grow. You know, I have taken pride in telling like even my wife when she's like, how's follower goes like, oh, we had one video with like 400 views, like genuinely her eyes were like, holy caca, that's awesome.
Same with Allie.
So I definitely do. I'm interested in growing that. I also am understanding that this is a process. You know, like as much as I would love to be Joe and Kyle, I would love to be Ains and his crew over at Season Gaming. I would love to be the Iron Lords. Like that took literally years for that to happen. And I think if we're consistent Ben. Ben is great too. Like I think it will come with time, and I think that we are slowly edging ourselves even into that community. It's been great communicating with a lot of these cool people. So that's my first one.
Yes, I think we should give her some credit on that, and I hope to continue that. Sorry, go ahead.
So that was my second one. I think we need to have more guests, not all the time. Like I think it's important for us to have our own time as a crew and to share our opinions. But I think it's cool to have some general like of our peeps. Like I still want to get Claire on the show. I also would love to see more people from other shows and maybe even into the industry this year.
I was thinking maybe every 10 episodes.
Yeah, it'd be great, man, to have them. So that's number two. Other thing, I also, the same thing, I want to make at least one TLDR video. I said bi-monthly from all of us. Like I would love to do every month, and that is really my goal. But I think that just in terms of what I'm going to be able to play, especially with some of the bigger games, I think if theoretically like me and Chance did January and Bacon and Dan did February, and then me and Chance were again in March, like I think that would help us create some content pretty quickly. I do appreciate you opening the YouTube channel up, man. I think that will help just helping with the not that you were a pinch point, but I don't want to have to put it all on your shoulders of like, Dan, upload the video. Like, I think it's cool that we just share it with each other and then we all agree it's good. Great. Yep. I'll upload it and take care of it from there. And then the last thing, and I think this is honestly maybe the most important, I still want us to have fun and celebrate games. You know, as much as I do want to make this more of a business and I do want to make it bigger, I also want to recognize that this is so that I can spend time with my friends and to be like a decompression part of my life, right? It's not a stressor in my life. It's not to make things worse. And the in parentheses I put to myself comes from Mr. Kyle Stevenson. Don't yuck the yum, right? Like if Chance wants to get into JRPGs again, man, you do that. If Bacon wants to put 300 hours into Modern Warfare and get all the golden guns, more power to you, my friend. Right?
Or that, I got one too, Jose. They said on PS Trophy Room today, #find the fun, which I actually think Luke Lore suggested them. Find the fun in games again.
Find fun, man. That's what this is about. It's, you know, I think the community is growing, and I have still been so proud of everything Microsoft and Xbox have done. I know people are down on the catalog that came out, and we wanted things sooner, but like, still, man, I am so happy to be where I'm at, and like, I look forward to every night, especially weekends when it's like everybody goes to bed and everybody's happy and it's like, boom, it's game time. Like this is just, I'm happy to be here. So those are my big resolutions, man. I'm excited to see what's going to come with 2023 and the new Nerd Chat for sure. Chance?
Yeah, so mine were kind of two different things. I don't know why I wrote one there. I was like two. But they're very separate things, but I think equally important. And the one is that kind of got the ball rolling on some of this name change stuff was the idea of merch. And that if we were to ever grow, I think merch is a really easy idea for like free advertising that you can do if people are walking around with, hey, what Nerd Chat, like what's that? Like it's a conversation starter. And almost every time I wear an XRT hoodie, someone says something like, what the hell? And they usually make fun of me, but it's a conversation starter, right? And no press is bad press. I don't truly believe that, but so I would love to kind of head that effort and really see that, I'm gonna air quote, take off. I just want to get it going, right? Because I know my mom and Annette will get on there and buy some things and stuff, but I also think it would be cool to be like, hey, check out our store, right? Like, here's some stuff. And then on the other side of that, more like specific to the show, I would, and Daniel, you mentioned it a little bit earlier, I would love to really dig into a rating system that's informative and a little more quantitative. I love our worth our time, worth our money. It makes so much sense to me, but it's not as quantitative as I think
people
the
want to see a
mass
number. I agree.
public wants. I will bang the table again for gamer grades and it doesn't have to have a wild syllabus like I was wanting originally, or even if we had tiers like S tier, A, B, C, D tiers, right? Like, I think that's digestible. Everybody went to school. Everybody understands A, B, C, D. I'm not married to anything, but I do.
I like
and
the
it's not
S
like,
tier idea. I'm just afraid of like, how would you, like you said,
how you differentiate an S versus an A.
Exactly. And you were saying like how, wouldn't it be cool to see our name up on Game of the Year, like contributing? They use numbers. Like, I'm just saying, like, even Kind of Funny, as much as they didn't want to, they switched it to 4 to 5 or a 5-point
exactly.
scale.
And
I'm not
so,
against that now.
in reality, if we did
S.
S tiers, A, B, C, D, what is that? That's 5,
S is
right?
5,
So
yeah.
maybe the answer's
Both.
just continually
Yeah.
slapping us in the face. We use 1 through 5.
And I was
Right?
thinking like worth your time. We can even say in there worth your time or S, A,
Yeah.
B, C, whatever. But
Yeah.
I like
So
the idea of the 5 though, because that forces you to pick. Like, you got to go out of 5. You can't do like most people are going to probably give a 7. Well, is that a 7 and a 4 out of 5, or is that a 3 out of 5? And what's a 2? So it kind of forces you down.
Yeah.
But we can talk more about that later.
And I would be more, and the next part of that, even though I said I don't need to do this massive rubric like I did for the gamer grades thing, but I do think it would be important, and I'd be happy to lead the charge on a definitive rubric on what 5 means to us, right? Like, because I think there are even mainstream sites like IGN that really need to define a little bit more about what a masterpiece actually is. And doesn't just mean me personally, I had a ton of fun playing it and really liked it, but to use the word masterpiece for something like Ragnarok or Pentiment, I just like,
I like the tiering thing, but we'll talk about that later.
Yeah. I'm not married to anything, not necessarily suggesting anything, just suggesting, again, more informative and quantitative.
And Bacon, I know you said you want to just share some thoughts as well. Don't feel like you have to, since you're just kind of,
It's so someone who built a moderately successful channel that cost me $20,000 or $30,000 to do it. People like seeing unboxings of things, like your controller you just had. You showed, Dan, that you were so proud of it. There's no reason to not film that unboxing and get free editing software and create. We have the mics to do voiceover. You can edit something, and there's no reason to not do that, because when you think about it, you're only giving people 52 chances a year to discover you. When you do one upload a week, one podcast a week, you get 52 chances. So everything, you should be streaming your gameplay, not on Twitch. You should be streaming it on YouTube, where you're trying to get a following. Twitch is really hard to break through. But the one main thing I've found is the process of not doing this show as a live stream. Most people tune in to talk to people behind the camera. If you're doing a live stream, people can be in a chat and ask you questions. Hey, Dan, did you like this game? Or, hey, Chance, where did you get that Master Chief trophy back there? And then it drives engagement. And if you're not live streaming it on YouTube actively, I know they're not perfect. Live streams, Walmart internet breaks down and goes out. It's all part of live streaming. But when you give the audience a chance to interact with you and talk, thumbs up you, and just try to get to know you, you're going to have way better success. And if you announce it on your Twitter, hey, we're going live in 30 minutes, come join us, and people can sit on a Thursday night who might not have anything to do, sit in your chat and talk to you. And sometimes when they get the news on Saturday that we record on Thursday, the news is already old at that point. But if we're getting the live news on Thursday, the hot active topic, which we were hitting today with the new controllers, it kind of just makes things more interesting. And I think we should look into a live stream to have it active and have it live and be able to talk. And then when super chats start coming in and people, when it gets big, they can start, super chatting to say, hey, I want my comment read. When you look at places like Randall Thor and things like that, half their show is driven off the interaction with their fans and in the chat. And I think it's very important to try to get there, guys. I love the show. I've listened to it loyally for 15 months now, and just because I know you guys. And I don't want you to lose the personality and the persons behind the camera, because getting to know you guys and the kids and seeing Grayson pop up and going to concerts with you, Dan, I don't want you guys to lose that in sight of seeking a bunch of subscribers, because it takes away the personal aspect of the show. But I think a live stream, would really help. Would help a ton.
I don't think any of us are seeking, but I do think we want to put more effort. Like you said, we almost have been doing this for 2 years. We got to be real. But I like your idea of the live streaming. It's just logistically, how difficult is that? And maybe with you here, you can help us set that up and stuff like that.
It's going into Discord and then feeding your Discord feed into your OBS. Yeah. Would
we stop using painless. Riverside? But anyway, we can talk about that later. I do like the idea. I
appreciate that too, Big.
Season gaming does that as well, and so I like the idea. But at the same time, I don't want to be broadcasting to nobody all the time. So we'll see. But no,
you know what? It might take that. It might take a few.
Yeah, no.
I mean, does it really matter if you're broadcasting to nobody?
Right, and you're not
having zero downloads.
It's not changing the time commitment you have right now. The hour and 34 minutes we've been here, it's just a live feed, and you can just watch a YouTube chat.
Yeah, no,
just to see if anyone comes in.
Right. No, I really like the idea, and I hope we all stick to these ideas. And I'm sure we're going to have more to talk about this later. But let's wrap the show like we always do. Speaking of our personalities, Bacon, let's close the show like we always do with the best food we had this week. Bacon, why don't you go first since you're our guest?
For Christmas, my wife made up a pretty good prime rib. She's done it every year. It turned out pretty solid. Then she went on vacation to California and left me home to game for 4 days. And I ate corn dogs and just awful diabetic foods. It was terrible.
Yes.
But I do enjoy the time alone to game and game excessively. So just some ham sandwich. Nothing impressive, guys. Just
that is wildly impressive. Trust me. We all just got shivers. Exactly. You were what for 4 days?
I'll go last here, guys, because I do have a question and a shout out that I want to share with you later. So Bubble Boy, go ahead.
Oh, I have terrible news for you all. Terrible news for you all. I hit a threshold that Ashley was like, we're done. This isn't happening anymore.
No more cereal.
We're going back on a diet. And the only diet that ever actually worked for me was that Joel Furman Eat to Live diet. That is, wait for it, vegan, no salt, no sugar, no simple carbs. It's all veggies, beans, fruits, whole wheat.
How exciting. Moving on. Jose, what about you?
No, I had 3 really good salads today.
Oh, gosh. Jose, what was the best food you had this week?
I'm proud for you, Chance. Good. As much as I am sad for you, I support you as your friend and hope you get healthy, man.
I need to not die.
There's some. Speaking of, shout out to Hogue. Hope he's doing well. I know you all have probably seen some of his stuff. He's in the hospital, and then the NFL injury, but that was kind of a freak accident. Jose,
that was 1,000 times healthier than me. That was
and that's scary because I'm thinking, where the hell is the AED in this gym in case I ever take an elbow to the chest one of these days? So Jose,
that's what I was doing at work today. I was just like going around like, hey, and how long has this AED been sitting here, and how long has it not
Who's
been
checking
checked?
this yet?
Right? Exactly. Right. And I'm,
best food you
Jose.
Anyway, well, I actually had great food,
Me
so
too.
I apologize. Had a chance. After Dan's rants about the freaking go into Burrito Express, I was like, I want a freaking breakfast burrito. So yesterday, when my work day, I went up to Tacos Rapidos on Federal and Evans, got myself a burrito. So it was phenomenal, like just delicious. I ate, and literally everyone who worked that popped in and saw me on my desk, they were like, "That's how you start a school year, right there." And I was like,
"Oh my
2023,
God,
baby!" But here's the thing.
Yeah.
Guess how much my burrito was? One bacon burrito, which is the cheapest breakfast burrito.
$48.
It was $11.07.
That's way more than Burrito Express. You got to drive up to Burrito Express, Jose.
What is Burrito Express? I was going to ask you. What is the burrito cost?
It's still
okay. See, that's what I was expecting.
Do you remember when they were $2.50?
Oh yeah, I thought
when we were in high school or middle school, they were
$5.
$2.50.
$5 was the standard.
I think they were cheap. I think they're cheaper.
$2.50. I can like look up and see it and see like where Sonic is now, but it used to be an open space behind it.
Yeah,
and you can
the
see
skate park
GM
was
on
there.
the hill. I can see it. $2.50. Quote me.
The other thing I had, it was actually tonight. Tonight was my mother-in-law's birthday, so we went out to Longhorn Steakhouse, and I actually had the burger. I like steak too, but I don't eat steak a lot, so I have to be kind of in the mood for it. So, but the burger is actually really good. It's like sirloin burger, a little salty, but a lot of their stuff is pretty salty. But man, it was absolutely a delightful way. Starting the show, I was in that moment of like, man, I could just go take a nap right now, go straight to bed. So, feeling good right now. But otherwise, those were the two best things I had this week. Dan, finish this out.
All right, so I'll make up for chance here. I had 2 Whoppers, delicious, best fast food burger, hands down. Heavy veggies, heavy ketchup, incredible. Then I had Chipotle.
Was better.
This time I got that chicken again, Jose. I can't remember who is it. I think it starts with an A in there or something. Anyway, it was almost too
pollo asado, right?
Yes,
it's not pollo asado.
Almost too much marinade or whatever, too much going on. It's still delicious, but I was like, next time I'll just do the standard chicken.
Just chicken, bud.
And then the best food I had this week, shout out to my wife. I got to ask you first. I almost blew it right there. Okay. Closing question. You need to rank these 3 breakfast foods from least favorite to most favorite. Waffles, pancakes, French toast. Chance, go. 3-1.
French toast number 1.
Okay.
Pancakes, waffles. Like
Jose.
literally the order that you did it.
Got it, Jose.
Same as Chance.
Bacon.
Same as Chance. French toast, pancakes, waffles.
Exactly the same.
Me too. That is the winning combo. Yep. You heard it here first, you guys. Shout out to Defining Duke. Somebody wrote in about this. French toast, pancakes, waffles. Allie made French toast tonight with some eggs after I came home from the gym. Devoured it. Delicious. And now I'm going to go upstairs and have some of that amazing cereal I sent you guys. So this has been the Nerd Chat, an Xbox podcast, episode number 88/episode 1, Jose?
I think we get to call it 88.
I think
I really do.
Jose, the end of XRT?
It's just a rebrand. Nike didn't start over when they
Daddy Diwali. Yeah. You can follow me at Daddy Diwali across all social media. You can follow the show at the Nerd Chat. It's been like that for like 3 weeks. Nobody noticed. So that just proves that it actually might have been a month at this point that we got to work on our growth and branding, Jose. You can find out more about the show at Nerd Chat Media.
Nerd Chat Podcast.
Nope, nerdchatmedia.com. Chipotle Bear, where can people find you?
You can write in at the Nerd Chat Podcast at gmail.com, or of course slide into any of those DMs. They are wide open.
And Bubble Boy, where can people find you?
I think I'll probably be at Sprouts a lot. I don't know. It sucks. The vegetable aisle.
And Eggs, Bacon Gaming, where can people find you?
You can find me on Xbox Live hanging out with Wally playing Modern Warfare, but you can find me on Twitter, XBaconGaming, all one word. And YouTube's the same. I haven't done anything on there in a while, but that's that.
Bacon, I got my 2 first Warzone chicken dinners.
Yeah, who's carrying a bacon? Just want to point that out. As always, Nerd Chatters, see you online.
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 I'm standing right here so I can hear everything that you're saying. Hey, guys. You ready to let the dogs out?
What?
Do what? Let the dogs out. You know, like, who let the dogs out? Who brought this guy along?
Yes, Alan, we are ready to let the dogs out. Hey, congrats.
Thank you.
The Nerd Chat, an Xbox podcast, is a podcast celebrating all things gaming, food, and the good old days. The show was created by Daniel Walenzik, and you can follow him at Daddy Diwali across all social media. The assistant to the co-host is Jose Martinez, and you can follow him at Chipotle_bear. The assistant to the co-host is Chance Siegel, and you can follow him at BubbleBoyN7. The intern to the assistant to the co-hosts is Jason Jarrett, and you can follow him at XBaconGaming. You can also follow the show at The Nerd Chat across all social media. And if you'd like to find out more about the show, visit nerdchatmedia.com.